Imagine you're standing in Rome nearly 2,000 years ago. Massive temples surround you. Aqueducts carry water across enormous distances. Roads connect cities. Armies protect an empire stretching across continents. To someone living there, Rome must have seemed unstoppable, permanent, perhaps eternal. But it wasn't. Centuries later, the Western Roman Empire had fragmented, and Rome was not alone. Across history, powerful civilizations have risen, flourished, and collapsed or transformed. The Maya built extraordinary cities, developed mathematics, astronomy, architecture, and writing. Yet many major Maya cities eventually experienced severe decline. Populations fell, political systems fractured, cities were abandoned. But civilizations rarely collapse because of one single event. Rome faced political instability, wars, economic pressure, disease, and invasions. The Maya faced their own combination of political conflict, environmental pressures, and social disruption. Different civilizations, different causes, but one disturbing pattern. Problems begin to connect. Political instability weakens institutions. Economic problems reduce resources. Conflict creates new pressure. Environmental changes threaten food production. Eventually, a society becomes less capable of absorbing the next crisis. Civilizations are complex systems. Food, energy, trade, government, infrastructure, security, trust, all connected. When one system struggles, others may compensate. But when several begin failing at the same time, the entire network can become fragile. And that brings us to today. Modern civilization is more connected than anything humanity has ever created. Food crosses oceans. Money moves around the planet in seconds. Satellites guide transportation. Global networks connect billions of people. This connectivity makes us incredibly powerful. But perhaps it also creates new vulnerabilities. Ancient Romans probably didn't believe their civilization could fall. Neither did many societies before them. So perhaps the real question isn't why civilizations collapse. It's this: would we recognize the warning signs if it started happening to us? Civilizations rarely collapse because of one disaster. They collapse when problems begin feeding each other. Imagine a civilization as an enormous machine. Food, energy, trade, government, infrastructure, security, trust. Each part depends on the others. And history shows what can happen when several begin failing at the same time. A drought reduces food production. Food shortages raise prices. Economic pressure creates public anger. Political instability weakens institutions. Conflict disrupts trade. And suddenly, a problem that began in one part of society spreads everywhere. This is why collapse can appear slow at first and then shockingly fast. But environmental pressure is only part of the story. Inequality can matter. If wealth and power become heavily concentrated, trust in institutions may weaken. Political division can make cooperation more difficult, exactly when cooperation is needed most. Then there is complexity. Advanced societies build enormous systems to solve problems. Roads, governments, armies, markets, communication networks. These systems create extraordinary prosperity, but they also require resources, coordination, and stability. The larger the system becomes, the more difficult it can be to maintain. Then, something unexpected happens. War, disease, economic crisis, environmental disruption. One shock may be manageable. Two may still be survivable. But several crises arriving together can push a vulnerable society toward a tipping point. And this is where the past becomes uncomfortably relevant. Modern civilization is more technologically advanced than anything before it. But we are also deeply interconnected. A factory closes on one continent and production slows on another. A major conflict can affect energy, food, and financial markets around the world. A disease can cross continents within hours. Technology gives us enormous resilience, but interconnected systems can also transmit disruption with extraordinary speed. So perhaps the lesson of history is not that collapse is inevitable. It isn't. Civilizations can adapt. Institutions can change. Technology can solve previously impossible problems. But resilience depends on recognizing threats before they become impossible to manage. Because history's greatest civilizations were not destroyed simply because they faced problems. They became vulnerable when too many problems connected at the same time. And today, humanity has built the most connected civilization in history. Which leaves us with one question. What happens if the entire world faces a crisis together? For the first time, humanity has built a truly global civilization. Nearly everything is connected. Food, energy, finance, communication, transportation, technology. A disruption thousands of kilometers away can reach us within hours. But modern civilization has something ancient societies never possessed: science, global communication, advanced medicine, satellites, early warning systems, and the ability to study civilizations that came before us. We know some of the dangers: climate disruption, pandemics, nuclear conflict, cyber attacks, economic shocks, and emerging technologies whose consequences may be difficult to predict. Any one of these could create enormous pressure. But history suggests the greatest danger may come when multiple crises interact. Imagine an extreme environmental event damaging food production. Prices rise, political tensions increase, international cooperation weakens. Then another crisis arrives. The individual problems may be survivable. Together, they could become something much larger. But collapse is not inevitable. Humanity has survived wars, pandemics, natural disasters, and economic crises. Again and again, societies have adapted. We created vaccines, built international institutions, developed global communication networks, and invented technologies that previous civilizations could never have imagined. Perhaps our greatest advantage is not technology itself. It is knowledge. We can study what happened before. We can recognize patterns. We can prepare. And perhaps we can change direction before reaching the tipping point. The ruins of ancient civilizations are not predictions of our future. They are warnings from our past. They remind us that power does not guarantee survival. Wealth does not guarantee stability. Technology does not guarantee wisdom. Civilizations survive when they adapt, when they cooperate, when they recognize that the greatest threats may not come from outside their walls, but from weaknesses within their own systems. So perhaps the question is not, will our civilization collapse? Perhaps the greater question is, can humanity learn from history before history repeats itself? Because for the first time, the civilization at risk is not simply Rome or the Maya or another ancient empire. It is a civilization connected across an entire planet. Ours,